I think AutoPen is clearly unconstitutional and should be banned.
No, it should be totally fine for like happy 7th birthday to Peter and Marcia. Like that is allowed. Like AutoPen to sign Merry Christmas.
Let's ban that too.
No.
But that's what it's supposed to be used for.
That's a dick move.
That's what it's supposed to be used
Imagine,
for.
I still think it's a dick move. So fine, I guess it's allowed. But could you imagine if it's like your birthday and then you get a letter and it's like a signature and you're like, oh, wow, thanks, Tim. And then someone comes and like, imagine then someone came to me and said, Tim, you know that card you sent to Daniel for his birthday? And I go, I didn't send him a card for his birthday. That's exactly what happened with Joe Biden. How many times did that happen?
And that's totally fine when you get 40,000 emails a day saying, can you send a letter to my mom for her birthday? Of course, President Trump or President Biden is not going to sign.
Like that means my Trump autograph stuff's not real?
But a lot, that's why a real autograph is real. And that's the problem. Like if you AutoPen Willie Mays' signature, this baseball is worth nothing.
We take them all to Pawn Stars now to get these verified.
Yeah. So then it's an auto. I mean, there's validity, there's power in the signature, and that's why you can't forge it.
That actually is funny. Like now that there's this AutoPen scandal, someone might go to Pawn Stars and be like, I have this photo of, Joe Biden with Richard Nixon signed by Joe Biden. I'm like,
Sorry.
Was it?
So
Was it really?
I think one of the problems that the Trump administration ran into with another story was over-promising and under-delivering, and the political cynic in me suggests that the same thing is going to be happening here. I don't suspect that anybody who actually received a pardon is going to have it withdrawn or whatnot. I don't actually think that Fauci is going to face justice in any, real way.
I hope you're wrong,
So, like,
Rod.
while the optimist in me, I mean, no, I'm purely cynical. I don't think that this is actually going anywhere, and I feel like we're being, this is just a story to help calm the base down.
I hope you're
I know
wrong.
this is
I
coming
hope you're
from the
wrong, but I think
Times.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying over the Epstein stuff?
I'm saying they overpromised and underdelivered for the Epstein stuff, and they could learn from that by not overpromising and underdelivering in the case here with the pardons.
Real quick. Can you name a story where the Republicans under promised and overperformed?
No, I mean, it's in the politician's nature to, but I mean, it's really biting the administration in a recent story, in the Epstein case story. And now I think it's going to bite them when none of this comes to fruition in the future, because again, I don't think Fauci's going to face any real justice.
Agreed. But I don't think the New York Times wrote this to appease the base of Trump. I do think there's a catastrophe, a crisis in the Epstein story, for which there's no way they make it go away. And it's really silly now. I think, what was it, Charlie Kirk was saying, what did he talk to Trump? Is that what happened?
Let's put an allegedly in there.
Yeah.
Allegedly,
Talked to his friends
President
in the White
Trump
House.
gave him a phone call and was upset, especially with how much talk of Epstein was going on at the
don't know if he said Trump,
TPUSA
though.
summit.
We'll get into the. I don't want to go too hard on the Epstein stuff now because we do have some stories to pull up there. The New York Times clearly wrote this story to cover up for Biden. That's why the headline of the story is Biden says he signed off on these pardons. Because when you actually go through it, the New York Times, this is what they do. They're front loading the story. So your average person sees the headline, reads the first paragraph and says, so Biden approved it. But if you actually read the whole way through, you're like, wait a minute. Now, just real quick, why would the New York Times write their story this way? Instead of just giving me a succinct one-paragraph intro, Republicans are investigating the pardons that Joe Biden issued because they're arguing that AutoPen is illegitimate. Aides and staffers ran these pardons through AutoPen without Joe Biden's approval. End of story. The New York Times wrote this to cover for Democrats, not to shift the narrative off of. I don't think the New York Times was like, let's collude to help Trump.
To turn it around on Trump at some point with his AutoPen use,
Yeah.
If there was, I believe there probably was.
There was, but I think this term Trump has not used it.
Not this term.
Because he's signing everything with those big markers.
Except for birthday cards and Christmas cards. But my only hope on the Fauci thing is I think Senator Rand Paul has such personal animus for him that I think the Trump administration separately, you may be right, like they may overpromise and underdeliver. But I think Senator Rand Paul has they had such nasty exchanges, and he's a doctor. He felt like he was questioned as a doctor. So I'm kind of hoping Rand Paul is like a pit bull with this and just goes after it nonstop.
I think he has every reason to try to get back into the good graces of the MAGA folk because he voted against the president's big, beautiful bill and has been getting a lot of heat from that. Maybe I just look at politics in a much more cynical way. I think this definitely would help him because he's posturing on an issue that he aligns with on the MAGA base. But this is the same guy who said he doesn't want to use the military on illegal immigrants to help ICE in any capacity. I think he's against mass migration, and he's against the Trump agenda that he tried to pass in Congress.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.